Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. Let's talk about the 2021 reintroduction of the Oyster bracelet on the GMT Master 2. Now, this isn't the biggest change in 2021. That would probably go to the change with the Explorer line. Link in the description to the video where I talk about that. And it's probably not as big as the minor changes to the Explorer 2. Link in the description where I talk about that. In that video talking about the Explorer 2, it's more about the ramifications of the changes to the Explorer 2 than anything in perhaps the previous Explorer 2. And I think the same could be said here. It's more about the implications than anything, but on a personal level, this was the biggest for me because I love the GMT line, and the BLNR has always been my favorite modern Rolex watch, and it just got better. All right, the 5-digit pre-ceramic GMT Master 2s, the 16710, always had the option of coming on a Jubilee bracelet or an Oyster bracelet, but with the first generation of ceramic GMT Master 2s, the 116710 LN, we lost the Jubilee bracelet. It was for a little while the end of an era for the Jubilee bracelet, but then it reemerged with the second generation ceramic GMT Master 2s, starting with the 126710 BLRO. And then we had another end of an era, the end of the Oyster braceleted ceramic GMT Master 2s, and also the monocolored, all black. All right, we'll come back to that. And going forward, you'll be able to get your BLRO or BLNR on either a Jubilee bracelet or an Oyster bracelet, and that's awesome. What's going to become of the nickname? Now, this is pretty special for anybody with a 126710 BLRO or BLNR, because they should be able to go to RSC and switch out their bracelets. Now, these are not going to be cheap bracelets. The Jubilee bracelet, just for comparison's sake, which is a hollow in-link bracelet, is well over $1,000 USD. I want to say 13 or 1400 USD. And this is going to be a more robust bracelet, and so I'm thinking probably about 2,000 USD to get that Oyster bracelet, okay, or Jubilee, whatever it comes with. If you want to get the opposite, it's going to be probably about 2,000, probably just a hair more for the Jubilee because it's a little bit more intricate. So, not cheap. And here's the question: will you be able to keep your bracelet? Well, if bezel inserts are anything to go by, it depends on the country, because, for example, Vietnam, if you have your bezel insert changed out on your pre-ceramic GMT, well, you just lose the older insert. You pay for the new one and just give them the older one. Here in Japan, they let you walk out with both, and so perhaps that's going to depend on the country. I mean, I can't imagine paying $2,000 to have a change of bracelet and then them saying, sorry, we got to keep your old bracelet. I mean, that's highway robbery there, but it might depend on the country. All right, so that remains to be seen. And I'm assuming that you can switch out the bracelets. Oftentimes, Rolex makes decisions after the fact whether you can do that. And I point to the current Oyster Perpetual line. I asked if you could buy, say, a coral dial and switch it out to a yellow dial, for instance, and they said, we don't know yet. Rolex hasn't told us if they're going to allow that yet. So if you roll into RSC and you put down your order for a polished middle link Oyster bracelet for your BLNR or BLRO, they're probably going to say, not yet, we don't know if we can do that. But if they're selling them like that, I see no reason why you couldn't. I mean, it's not like the serial number changed at all. So I think it should be able to happen. Just cross your fingers you don't live in a place where they make you give up your older bracelet. That would be crazy. I mean, hopefully no country is like that. But again, if bezel inserts are anything to go by, you can always come to Japan, perhaps, to get your $2,000 bracelet. But we love options, and that's a good change, and it makes me like the BLNR even more. You know, that was always one of the best things about the pre-ceramics, the different looks you could achieve. And now, well, you can achieve two different looks with your 126710. And that's good. Now, who is this bad for? Well, it could be bad for anybody that paid a lot for a BLNR, and I'm talking about the first generation 116710. Now, the best thing about having one of those was that it had the Oyster bracelet, and now you've just got less options, because your friends with the 126710 are going to be walking around with Jubilee bracelets some days and Oysters on others, and you're going to be stuck with your one Oyster bracelet, which was great when it was special, but it's not special anymore, and now all you've got is a BLNR with an older movement. Now, that was going for a lot on the gray market because, again, it was, as we thought, the end of an era, the last of those Oyster braceleted watches, and if you liked the Oyster look, then that's what you would go for. In gray market shops, they were making you pay for it, and now what? So if they had 17,000, 18,000 on their first generation BLNRs, they're gonna have to lower those prices as the 126710 watches come in with the Oyster bracelets. And so that's bad for gray market people, that's bad for speculators, especially if they, you know, paid these high prices thinking, you know, it's just gonna continue to go up because we'll never see another Oyster bracelet. Well, Rolex said otherwise, and perhaps this was a move to, well, screw with people who were speculating or putting these crazy prices on first generation BLNRs. Maybe this is Rolex saying, well, you really want to go the older route, or you want to go the newer route, have the newer movement, have the options of either bracelet. Why pay those crazy prices? You know, 2021 was really about Rolex coming and screwing with speculators and people with these discontinued watches that are demanding crazy prices or walking around thinking, you know, I've got a really collectible watch because, and I point to the 116710 LN. I mean, owners, especially those who paid, what, $15,000 when it was discontinued and it shot up, and they thought, well, I got to get one now. And it can only go up because we're never going to see another monocolored GMT Master 2 again. Well, Rolex has put doubt out there. And so if you have one of those watches and you paid a lot for it, I don't think you can expect for it never to reappear again. If you are looking at one and it's 1,200, 1,300, you got to wonder if you want to pay that premium, because in a couple of years, Rolex might re-release that watch and you're going to get bracelet options, which you don't have with the 116710 LN, and you'll have the newer movement. And so do you want to pay more now for what might come in the future? And Rolex has established that doubt. So people walking around with a 116710 LN probably aren't sleeping as easy as they were a week ago, because again, Rolex has said that they can go backwards, they can revisit their past. And, you know, the days of a monocolored GMT Master 2, I mean, they're more possible than ever. Now, what should they have done? Well, I'm not a fan of polished middle links, okay, but that's just the style of bracelet that the ceramic GMTs have when it comes to the Oyster bracelets, and I guess the Jubilee bracelet as well. I would have liked to have seen a brushed Oyster bracelet option. I think that's probably asking too much. That really would have done a lot of damage, I think, to the 5-digit pre-ceramic GMTs with that more tool watch look. So do I think it'll ever happen? I don't think so, but you know, I hate to speculate too much about what Rolex will and won't do, because they really surprised us this year. You know, I think a lot of people were really disappointed with the 2021 releases, and perhaps they were a bit underwhelming, but if you look at it from the perspective of a good solid chess move on the part of Rolex, I think it makes sense. And I think it was a good counter move to a lot of the nonsense going on with flippers, gray market dealers, speculators, people holding on to these watches and really trying to profit from them being discontinued. And Rolex showed us again that they could revisit the past. And anybody walking around with a watch, especially a ceramic watch like a 116710 LN, and saying, you know, this is the end of an era, this is special, you know, you should be paying 15 plus for this watch. Well, that's all been called into question now. So I think the more I think about 2021, the more I appreciate it. The more I appreciate what Rolex did. And they're indeed full of surprises, not visual surprises, but strategic surprises. Let me know what you think. Take care. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.